Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 304. 304. Hola, ¿cómo estás, señor Christopher?
Hola. How you doing? I'm good, thanks.
Good, man. Long time no talk. How you been?
We took a week off. Sorry about
How's
that,
the family? They don't need to even know about that. All four listeners didn't even notice. I got zero phone calls, even from our loyal law firm of Code and Olson. Didn't even call me. Didn't even text. It's like, well, maybe nobody's listening anymore.
I think that might be the case. That really might be the case.
We figured we'd do one more and see if we get a voicemail, a review, or something to indicate that, hello, is somebody out there? Is this thing on? Is this thing on? All right. Well, we'll see. All right. Well,
there's been a lot going on, man. We have a few things to get caught up on.
Spring is in the air.
We've had I've had a birthday. We had Easter. All sorts of things have been going on while we've been off the air. But yeah, it's been good.
Let's talk about your 78th birthday.
My 78th, yeah, it's minus 54 or something, but actually not quite minus that many. But yeah.
What'd you do?
It was just chill. I don't do anything. I mean, I had that huge party for my 50th that you were at. That was 7 years ago now. But since
there
then,
it is.
We've toned it down quite a bit. I don't do much. I just like to be surrounded by my family, and all three of my children came to the house, and we had a nice tri-tip dinner with barbecue beans, and I drank a little bit of bourbon with my boys.
What's it like drinking with your kids now?
Well, I'm telling you. Well, that's an interesting segue right there. Let's
talk about that.
So, as you know, or as listeners know, I have 3 children, 2 boys, and they're both over the age of 21. And then I've got a daughter that's 18. Kevin is, I think he's 25 now, and Craig is 28 or 20. But I don't know what my kids' ages are. I just know they're over 21. But Craig has kind of turned into quite the whiskey and bourbon aficionado, and he kind of, follows my lead to a certain degree. And actually, in some cases, he spends more money than I do on bourbon or whiskey. Let's just use whiskey as the general term right now.
Yeah.
But, he wanders back to the office here where I keep my stash and starts pulling out bottles of things. And I do give him nods, say, no, don't touch that. Or, yeah, you can have that. But he pulled out the Knob Creek 9-year, which is a heavy hitter. It's a $1.20 proof.
Ooh, yeah.
And I'm like, he had the Minden Meats one, which is, it's a special barrel, right?
Okay.
So he brings that up to the front of the house, and we're like, oh, yeah, I'm into that. I'll have some of that. And then Kevin's like, I've never known him to want any of the whiskey or bourbon. And he's like, I'll have some of that. And he freaking like shotgun that.
Really?
And Craig and I are sipping on it, and Kevin's like, ooh. I'm like, dude, slow down there, Chief. This isn't wine. This isn't beer at 5%. This is what you're hitting there.
It's not a White Claw.
60% alcohol.
Jeez.
So he then whipped out some Blanton. I brought the bottle of Blanton's out.
Ooh,
and he had some of that.
Occasion.
Craig and I had some of that. Yeah, it was a good night.
Right on.
So yeah.
So you're out of whiskey, and
I'm out of
your kids are alcoholics now. Okay, great.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I got to go to the store and buy some more. I'm pretty low now, so
yeah. You may have more than I have right now. I've been very slim on restocking, and I've had several visitors. It's been like a revolving door here.
Mm-hmm.
The Airbnb, but I'm gonna have to start charging and put a gate in. I really need to get a gate in. I need to talk to Carlos at Tack One Fab about a gate. I got some killer ideas.
Well, I'll be up there next week, so hopefully you got something for me.
Oh yeah, well, the good stuff's hidden from the commoners and Lorenzo. Why are you giving me that look, Lorenzo? He knows better.
Speaking of stocking up, one of the things that if you're watching the news, there have been some pretty significant storms that have hit the East Coast, and
man,
the Buffalo Trace Distillery got freaking rocked, man. Bad. Rack houses were flooded, and the whole distillery itself. Rick houses. Sorry, did I say rock house?
It should be a rack house, but no, because that's where the barrels are racked. But it's called a rick house. But yeah, the flooding's insane.
Oh, it's bad. I mean, it's like, I don't know, 1,000-year storms or something's going on there. It's bad. A lot of people have died. A lot of product has been destroyed. So when I was at Costco last week, they've had the Buffalo Trace, the regular Buffalo Trace at the store forever.
Yes.
But looks like they're doing clearance on it. So I ended up buying 2 more bottles of Buffalo Trace. The regular stuff was just under $27 a bottle.
Yeah, and that's for a liter of cola. Right? Those were liters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the big bottle.
Those were liters. So, yes, right when that flooding was going on, I went to our Costco up here in Carson, and I did the same thing. I'm like, ooh, better get this because it's going to be slim pickings for a while. I got to imagine. I don't know. I haven't read what the extent of the damages are. Like, how many barrels did they lose, or what happened? I don't know.
I mean, I really haven't followed up much on it other than the initial article that I saw on the news. But I wonder what other distilleries have been impacted. But, listeners and bourbon whiskey or bourbon aficionados know that, Buffalo Trace is the distillery that makes the Blantons and a ton of other products. So
yeah, Pappy Van Winkle.
Mm-hmm. So there's going to be some shortages on some special stuff. Now, at the same time, with Canada, poo-pooing the tariffs, some people are seeing shelves stocked with stuff in the States now that hasn't been available in quite a while. So that's kind of I don't know if that's a plus or not, but it's still something worthwhile, something worth noting, I suppose.
Our Pendleton whiskey supply is going to be low.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I bet there's some really lethargic and happy fish downstream. That's all I can say.
Right. Do barrels float or do they sink to the bottom?
When they're full, I would imagine they sink.
Oh man, go diving.
So that's an interesting thing. So a barrel is, sealed per se from liquid.
Mm-hmm.
So liquid on the outside, muddy river water, and pure gold Pappy Van Winkle on the inside of this barrel. I gotta imagine it's fine unless, and you got the bung in the top that's hammered in. I mean, I can't imagine them, I don't know, being destroyed, but
it's a loss. But I mean, it'd be an interesting experiment to be able to taste some of the product that's been
you're gonna see some Pappy Van Winkle for $22.95, the Muddy River edition.
Right?
Oh gosh.
So yeah, lots of action. I mean, so my birthday, bourbon drinking with my boys, and other things that have been going on. Obviously, we had just had Easter, which was another family event here at my house with the children, and we did not do an Easter egg hunt, but we had a breakfast with the family, and then Craig went to another party, and then we had dinner with steak dinner last night with all the trimmings. It was great.
Nice. You should have hid the airline whiskey bottles. I went to an Easter where they had those, and so it was an adult Easter egg hunt, but they just hid the little bottles around the yard, which I thought was a fantastic idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
wander around and have your little bottle or glass with an ice cube in it. And just
you could do that. Just walk around. I went to a winery once. God, what was the name of that winery? It's escaping me at the moment. It was in Napa, and it was super cool because just typical, winery room. You walk in, hey, how you doing? Yeah, 3 for tasting. Okay, great. And they hand you a glass. And then they poured you, some Sauv Blanc or whatever, some Basil Hayden. And then you walk out into the garden. And they're talking about the winery and everything. And then they stop and they say, okay, now we're going to try our, Merlot. And you're out in the middle of this garden, and they just reach around this tree and pull out a bottle of Merlot.
Wow.
And they fill your glass, and then you walk around. So you did like 5 tastings throughout the garden. I thought that was kind of a cool way to do it.
For sure.
But anyways, I
little potpourri. You don't know what you're going to get, but it's going to be hopefully good, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, and then the biggest news that I really wanted to talk to everybody about
let's do a drum roll.
The Jeep is back on the road.
Oh my God. We need an applause for this one. Come on. It is, how long has it been?
I'm not quite sure. I didn't document when I had that leak that formed or that I discovered the massive fuel leak. It was sometime last fall when I wanted to drive it, and it just didn't happen. So, but finally got to the point where I needed to get this thing back on the road. Enlisted the help of my oldest son, Craig, who's, he's kind of a grease monkey as it is, working on stuff at his job.
Say mechanical, and he can fucking weld. Yeah,
he's a pipe fitter, welder. He's kind of a jack of all trades. Works for a company that makes sprayers, industrial size sprayers for Caltrans and stuff. So anyway, he came in and he was a rock star. He did the heavy lifting and really got down and dirty under the Jeep. But pulling a fuel tank out of that Wrangler is no easy feat. It's it's really wedged in there pretty tight between the leaf springs and the spring hangers and the nuts and bolts, and of course you got the exhaust pipe in the way. And years and years ago, when I was modifying the Jeep in the early days, I had put I was actually on the what trail was I on? I was on Blue Lakes Trail years ago. I was on a trail run, and the rig in front of me, when we were getting close to the river crossing, the Jeep in front of me smashed down on we were in a pretty gnarly rock garden, smashed down onto a rock and almost damaged his fuel tank. And I'm like, I don't have any armor. I mean, I had the stock tin skid plate on my rig, and I'm like, this is not going to end well.
No.
Ended up making it through that obstacle, but it was one on my list of things to do to improve the Jeep was to put a gas tank skid plate on there. So I put it, ended up buying a Genrite, which is beefy shit, and put that on the Jeep. And obviously it's a pretty heavy fucking skid plate. So the process of getting this tank out involved, obviously it was when I parked the Jeep, I always have it full. It was no point, it's a full tank. I had to drain the tank, suck out most of the fuel. Can I
interject real quick?
Sure.
It's good to store with a full tank of fuel, because then the water condensation, if you have a half or a quarter tank, it will condensate, and then you get water in your fuel. Not to mention that California fuel goes to shit, in 4 or 6 months. But yes, okay. Anyways, go on.
So anyway, got the tank emptied, and even I think in it, when I opened the tank up to change the fuel pump, I realized there was still about 5 gallons in there. It's like 40 pounds of fuel plus a 50-pound skid plate plus the tank.
Yeah.
So you're probably dealing with close to 100 pounds suspended over your head when you finally release those bolts.
Oh yeah.
You had the floor jack holding it up and blocks of wood and jack stands and so forth. But, got that stupid tank out, and, everybody knows it's a 95 YJ. So it's a 30-year-old Jeep at this point with the original fuel lines, original fuel pump. So I had made the decision when I pulled all this stuff out that I was going to put everything in. When I replaced everything, it was to be all brand new.
Yeah.
I mean, the fuel pump was fine that I pulled out, and so was the sending unit, but I figured it's out. It's a pain in the ass to pull it out. I'm putting everything in new.
Heck yeah.
So in a previous episode, I had mentioned that I tried to order a fuel pump off of Amazon, and that order got rejected because of, I don't know, for fucking some reason, because it's California.
That is so crazy.
So I placed the order, placed a new order with Rock Auto, and Rock Auto came through like rock stars. And the fuel pump got delivered, I think 4 or 5 days later on my doorstep. with a new gasket and everything, and then fuel lines. I ordered. Apparently, there's 2 different size fuel lines on this thing. There's a primary.
Interesting.
The outgoing to the engine injectors is a 3/8 fuel line, and the return fuel line is 5/16. So I had 3/8, but I didn't have the 5/16, so I had to order that, which delayed my reinstallation by a couple of days.
Well, but hey, man, you're good to go now.
Yeah. Well, then Craig came back, and so I replaced the fuel pump on my own here, which is easy. I mean, once you have all the tools and you have all the supplies, took me half an hour to change out the fuel pump, and it was a direct replacement. No problems there. But I got it all torqued down. You don't make those bolts very tight. It's a plastic tank, so everything's set in stone or tightened down. And
it's a quarter ugga-dugga.
A quarter, and it's funny. I watched a video on YouTube about this, and one of the guys is like, "Make sure you don't use any electric tools because you're working near gas fumes." I'm like, "That's a good point. That's smart." So I got everything put back together, and then Craig came over last Friday night after work, and we put this thing back in the Jeep, and it was again tight fit getting it back in. You got to kind of lift because you got the little fill nipples, I'll call them, that come off the tank, which are. So you need to raise one side of the tank and get it above the leaf springs, and then raise the other side of the tank to get it around the exhaust pipe. And I'm like, I'm going to cut this fucking exhaust pipe off. And Craig's like, do it. I got a MIG welder or TIG welder. I'll weld it back together.
Hell yeah.
If there was no exhaust pipe there, this thing would have been 10 times easier to do.
You should have cut it and then put one of those big old kazoo mufflers, that those rice rockets run in the Bay Area.
Anyway, got it back up in there, put all the bolts back on, and then we reconnected the breather hose. I guess there's some vent, I don't know, for some sort of emission system.
Charcoal recirculation canister, yes.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then, so everything's back in, connected up the pigtail for the power. Said, okay, did a quick final check, and then went into the Jeep and turned the key, crank. I could hear the pump going. I hear bzzz, crank. This thing is not starting. I'm like, oh shit.
That's it. Sell it.
Like this is bad. But I could hear the pump cycling. I could hear the relay kicking and the pump turning on. I'm like, why is this not happening? But so Craig's underneath and he's like, okay, try it now. And I turned the key and cranked it one more time. It fired right up. And I was like, what happened? It's like, well, when we lifted the tank up, I guess the fuel line by the above between the tank and the frame rail or the body got pinched.
Oh.
So he unpinched it and fuel was flowing and it started right up.
Yeah, that's all you need. A little fuel, spark, bang, blow. That's all you need.
So everything's connected. And that night it was pretty late when we got that done. I didn't want to go for a drive that night. So Saturday I went to work and then got home from work and cleaned up the garage, dug out the Jeep because it had a few things piled around it. Got the big truck out of the way and drove it out of the garage. Did a quick drive down to the end of the driveway. Got out to make sure there was still no leaks. I'm like, this is good. Drove it around the block a couple times. A lot of flat spots on those tires. So drove around the block a couple times and then drove down to the local gas station and put exactly 10 gallons of gas in the tank because I wanted to see if there was any leaks on the fill spout. No leaks there. And then when I was driving back with the 10 gallons, because it's a 20-gallon tank, I figured it was about 3/4 of a tank at that point. I shook the Jeep, zigzagging pretty aggressively down the road. Well, it doesn't take a lot to make that thing go zigzag.
No.
But I wanted to slosh the fuel around to see it, make sure the gasket on top of the tank with the fuel pump was sealed and literally dry as a drum. I mean, fucking awesome. So the thing is 100% again, runs great, purrs like a kitten. And other than soft flat spots on the tires, which will be resolved with a little bit of driving, thing's good to go.
Well, congratulations. I got to ask you a question though.
Go ahead.
Now, you didn't have the full top on, right? Just bikini top? Or
no, I have my regular. I have the regular top on right now.
The full top's on right now.
Yeah, full soft top.
I didn't know if your hair was blowing around. But what did it feel like to drive the Jeep again?
Oh, it felt great, man. It's
Isn't
like,
it cool?
You know what? It
It's a
just
poor
puts a
man's
smile on your
convertible.
face.
It does.
Well, I'm gonna take the top off before I head down to clinic. So that's the other big news. I'm taking the Jeep down to clinic in May for the spring safety clinic for our Jeep Club Esprit de Four. So I'm stoked. But I'll tell you what, it's like if you don't own a Jeep, Jeep owners really know. I mean, it just brings a smile to your face to be just driving your Jeep around, even if you're driving around town with, I mean, I don't have the top down, but I will. And I do usually have the top down in the summer, but it just really lightens your mood and makes you super happy. And then being in the woods off-road, driving your Jeep is like nirvana.
It really is. Toyota owners don't understand. How many Jeep Waves did you get when you were going around town there? Did you get any Jeep Waves? You
I didn't get any Jeep. I didn't go around town. I drove around the block.
Oh, you didn't pass any other Jeep owners and get the Jeep Wave?
I don't usually get too many Jeep Waves from four-door, JKs and JLs. But,
well, yeah, that it's different. But I will say, with the old school CJ5. And Randy Slauson summed it up best. I'm like, dude, what's up with do you get the Jeep Wave or whatever when he had that CJ7? He goes, I only give the Jeep Wave to people that have flat dashes. So the old Jeeps.
Perfect.
And I go, you know what? That's true. Yeah, because the new JL latte makers, they're too busy. They're too busy foaming, frothing their soy lavender latte or whatever they're brewing up inside,
or posting TikToks or whatever.
Yeah, wondering if their rooftop tent's secured down. You know, if they put the latches on.
Right?
Did I tighten that Rotopax? I don't know. There's a lot. Scottle. There's a lot going on. Yeah. Did I pack my Scottle? Did I leave it at camp? Oh God, I better turn around and go check.
Do I have enough lights?
Yeah, my ditch lights. Should I turn on my ditch lights? It's getting close to dusk. I don't know if my dish lights should be on or off right now.
Don't want to dish on them too bad. They are Jeep owners after all. They're still part of the family. I mean, a little highfalutin part, but never.
I'll tell you what. Let me just say, we make fun, right? We're here for entertainment. We're here to entertain you. And what do we do, Chris? We give till it hurts.
Oh, pain. I feel the pain all the time.
But, on that Ruby Tracks run, that High Ground by Nightfall, that guy, I mean, he was an overlander, right? I mean, but here's how cool this was. I got to say, a Jeep Gladiator with this crazy, rooftop tent thing. Dude, he could have stayed inside the lodge. I mean, this was a lodge. It wasn't a fucking house. It was a lodge. He could have stayed inside, warm place. He chose to sleep in his domicile there. His overland.
RTT.
Yeah, it's a badass RTT. But yeah, I mean, that's hardcore because I don't care if I had a rooftop tent or not in there on my whatever tracked rig I drove in, but I would have stayed in that lodge. So, no, that's cool. Yeah, right on, man. Well, congratulations. I'm excited. I hope to see you out on the trail here. We got safety clinic coming up. I don't know if I'm going to have my Jeep there. Just because of logistics. I got some stuff going on that Sunday right after, and towing a trailer down with the Jeep and stuff could complicate things. But we'll see. But I'm stoked because hopefully we'll see you out on some runs this
well, my plan is to drive down Thursday night and goof around a little bit on Friday. I want to go down to DeRose, our typical winery visit. Get some nights in the camper, which I really love sleeping in the camper, and I love waking up at Area 5, and obviously seeing all the eager, bright-eyed students, when they roll in to get their inspection and get transported down to the classroom, and it's just such an energetic weekend, and I thrive. I love that. So. But yeah, I want to try to play a little bit on McCrazy Road on the easier things, which, for me, it's driving through the tunnel in that area or adjacent to the tunnel. And then that one section above the gnarly or just before the freaking gnarly climb, the driveway. But I'm looking forward to getting out there, getting the Jeep, on the trail again. It's been too long. I mean, last year I didn't get to wheel because I didn't get to go to clinic last year because of 2 separate weddings that occurred
Oh, that's
on the
right.
exact same weekends. And trust me, I loved going to the weddings. My niece's wedding in the spring was epic. And there was an episode dedicated to that. And then of course, Sarah Hannah's, I guess her name's not Hannah anymore, but Sarah's wedding in the fall.
Duba, and she's got a bun in the oven.
Yeah, it should be due like in the next month or so.
It's pretty close. She was definitely showing at Prairie City a few weeks ago. Yeah. It was good seeing her and Zach. So, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, it was. Life happens, but I hope, you get to do some wheeling, a lot of wheeling this summer. And, dude, welcome back. Welcome back, Carter.
Good to be back. Good to be back. I want to go to. I'd like to do a Rubicon run. I'd like to do not Fordyce. That trail's gnarly, but maybe Windshield 5. And then the other thing is I'd like to try to get on Barrett, and then of course our Adopt a Trail in June or July. So those are my goals.
June. It's we got it set.
Okay,
what
cool.
What date is it? Let me look here. Lorenzo, do something. He's like, he doesn't even know what to do. He's putting his hooves up like, what do I do? He doesn't even know what to do.
Well, he took a week off and he doesn't know what to do anymore.
No, he's been off for a long time. He took the winter off. What are you talking about? Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay, thanks, Lorenzo. Good job. It's June 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Okay,
so up
cool.
there by Arnold. And as the crow flies, it's not far from here, but I got to drive around to get there because there's a really windy road between me and there. So
yeah, and that's not.
I got to drive around,
friendly.
Down, over, and up to get there. But I'm not complaining because you know what the crazy thing? I was having this conversation a couple weeks ago with Eric Wicks. We went down to see his new car at Gippin Fab there with Keith Bean, and dude, what a cool operation he has. And he is going to be on the podcast. He just was crazy busy. But now that he's finishing up Eric's car, he's got another car that's similar to Eric's, but not as badass.
Yours?
Yeah, I wish. That is a whole different playing field there. It's just, but what's cool is Keith is doing this on his property at he built a shop. It's similar to Randy's operation at Palmer Fab. His house is right there. His shop's right there. He walks, 80 steps, maybe 50 steps to his, work, his shop. But his craftsmanship is really freaking good. And, just like Randy's and stuff. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of great car builders out there, but it's cool to see their operation. And then to see what he's building for Eric is second to none. I'll tell you, man.
I'm looking forward to seeing Eric's new car.
It's a freaking spaceship, dude, and it is all beef, and it is going to put Joe Thompson's, UFO cars on check here. So buckle up, buttercups. This thing's coming in hot, and Eric is excited. And if our listeners know Eric like we know Eric, there's no lift. It's going to be fucking balls to the wall, and he's a wheelman, and he's going to turn some heads and go, where the hell did this guy come from? So I'm excited about that.
It's going to be awesome. What's his first race?
Vegas to Reno is the plan.
Gotcha.
So hopefully, but where I was going with this is I was telling Eric, we were going down Highway 80. I drove over to Truckee and we're going down 80. And I go, man, I used to always drive this highway. And now that I'm living on the other side of the lake, I rarely drive that highway, which is great because that highway sucks ass with all the semi-truck ruts and the slow lane and everything.
So they've done a lot of repair work on it, but it's still bad in spots for sure.
Yeah, you just drove it recently, right?
Yeah, in my wife's new car, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. What kind of new car?
We got rid of that goddamn Jeep. We're a one Jeep family again, but a little segue there. So that Jeep, she had a Jeep Cherokee, which is, made by Fiat, which is probably one of the worst reviewed and worst reliable cars on the planet. And, she loved it. When she saw it on the dealer lot, I saw her eyes light up and I'm like, oh boy. Anyway, she bought it. And we've paid the price since we bought that thing. The number of repairs we've had to do that were not under warranty and were quite expensive. We had some major repairs that should never have happened just because it's a piece of shit. So we noticed an oil leak under the vehicle a few months ago. And I'm like, what's this? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And so I started doing some investigating. It turns out that it's a common issue with the oil filter housing, which is on top of the engine. It's a V6. So it's in the valley between the cylinder banks. And there's like an integrated oil cooler and an oil filter cartridge holder and all this stuff. And it's prone to leaks and it's a massive job. It can be replaced and repaired, but it's like, to do it involves removing and disassembling quite a bit of stuff, and it's like the dealer to do it's like $2,000 or $3,000.
Oh my gosh!
And we'd have already into this thing for some of the repairs we've done were like $6,000 and $4,000 and whatever. So I'm like, I told her, I said, we're done. I'm not fixing this fucking car again. And so we found a good deal on a Honda Passport, which is just the vehicle just below. So there's 3 SUV, well, maybe 4. You have the Honda CR-V, which is the baby one. Then you got the Honda Passport, which is the middle one. And then the Honda Pilot, which is basically the Passport with 3 rows.
Okay.
3 seating rows. It's an SUV. Anyway, so we got a 2025, good interest rate. And it's a beautiful leather. It basically checks all the boxes. It's a Honda. It's brand new, got a brand new warranty, high reliability. Thing is fucking beautiful. So we mentioned earlier in the show that we drove up last weekend to see my mom, just a quick trip the Sunday before Easter, and the day run. And man, that thing is a nice freeway machine, man. It's got active noise cancellation in the cabin. So it's like, it uses the sound system to like cancel out road noise and freaking engine noise. So it's pretty badass.
That's got to be like a church compared to your Dodge, that rattle trap that you drive up highway.
Oh, the Dodge is super quiet. I mean, you hear the engine, but there's never any wind noise in the Dodge. The Dodge is a solid truck, man. But yeah, the Passport's way quieter than anything we own. I mean,
wow,
it's fucking nice. So, it's got all the latest and greatest ADAS, the automatic driver assist systems. It's got what do they call it? The adaptive cruise control.
Adaptive cruise control is the best thing.
It's got the little blind spot indicators. It's got all that shit. It's freaking badass. So
does it have massaging seats?
No, it doesn't have massaging seats. Heated seats, but cooled. No, they're not cooled in this one. We had those in the Jeep, and I don't miss them. That's fine. But anyway, it's nice. I still haven't driven it. I'm not allowed.
That's all right.
It's fine. I was a passenger for that whole 7-hour trip.
If you marry your wife, you might get to drive it.
Right? No, that's all right. It's her car, man. It's all good.
Okay.
But so yeah, we got rid of the Jeep. So one Jeep family, and she has a new car, Honda Passport, and it's beautiful. So and she's happy. I'm happy that I don't have to make any goddamn expensive repairs to a Jeep anymore. Oh wait.
Well, no, wait. So I
still have a Jeep.
Yeah, but wait a minute. You're bagging on Jeeps a little bit, but we got to clarify, because the previous Jeep that you had was what was that, an XJ, ZJ?
No. It was a Cherokee, but it's the new Cherokee.
I know, but what does it have, a J something moniker?
KJ maybe?
KJ? No,
I'm not even sure.
I think KJ was the Liberty.
Yeah, maybe.
But it was a shit box. It was a shit box that we call like the XJ's shit box.
Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't have low range. It had all wheel drive, but I mean, it the thing that was cool about it
was a Fiat. It wasn't a Jeep.
Basically
it was
a Fiat. Yeah,
it was a Fiat. Okay, let's call it what it is.
Fix it again, Tony.
Fix it again, Tony.
I mean, some of the repairs we did on that thing were absurdly expensive. It was like we had the biggest one was the rear drive shaft, and they call it what do they call it? A power takeoff to the rear axle.
PTO?
Which is literally, it was like some sort of part of the transmission that's modular that can come off and be replaced. That repair was $6,000.
Oh, fuck that! No,
and I'm like, ugh. I mean, it's just Anyway, we got rid of it.
Well, that's good. Okay. Well, congrats. You got the Jeep fixed. Your wife's got a new car. Boy, things are doing well in the Maines family. Your kids are drinking fine bourbon.
Yeah, when I'm here. Well, they might be drinking when I'm not here. I was going
to say you better check the levels because the old let's add a little water to it. So if your Elijah Craig is watered down, that's not good. Your Weller.
I'd be pissed. Oh, Weller. Yeah. I drank some Willet the other night too.
Oh, Willet's always good too.
That was special. So anyway, we dug out some good bottles, but
that's good.
So anyway, a lot of stuff, as we said, a lot of stuff's been going on. What's been going on with you? I mean, it's all been me. It's been me. What's going on? Yeah, nothing. I hear you have a job.
No, I don't. So let's go back a little bit. I got to go back to Tom Lou's birthday bash. O is right. O with a capital OH and several H's behind it with several exclamation points. So it was a couple. James and Rhonda came up because I'm working on their cab over camper, putting a new roof on it. There was a major leak. Oh my God. Just pulling, cab over campers are really cool, but if they leak, they're so cheaply built. It's cancer everywhere. And I've been ripping out wood. And now, granted, this is the weirdest thing to me. I mean, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense, but it's been sitting. Their cab over camper has been sitting in my garage undercover, out of the elements for
2 months.
Let's just call it 2 months. So James brought it to me right after King of the Hammers. He discovered a leak right before King of the Hammers and dried out the interior. And he goes, dude, water was everywhere. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Well, that's not good.
What year is his?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm going to say 2008 or something, 7,
so
8.
Doesn't have the aluminum chassis.
It does have an aluminum chassis.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, no. So that is the saving grace. It is all aluminum frame. But anyways, so I start ripping into this thing. So right before Hammers, he had this leak. He went to Hammers, brings it up to my house right after Hammers, and I'm pulling panels off, and there is still wet wood. I mean, it just doesn't dry.
There's a joke there. We could have a joke.
Wet wood. Giggity, giggity.
Tyler cracking up right now.
Yeah. So I'm like, holy crap. And of course, mold and stuff. And I've been ripping. So I got all that out now, letting it dry. Now we're in the rebuilding phase. And it's quite the project. And then they came up last weekend, James and Rhonda, and hey, we want to redo the interior while we're here, and got everything apart. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, now's the time. So the project just doubled in size, but they're helping paint. So we're going to paint the inside, all the walls and stuff, and then took the couch out. That's getting reupholstered. New skylights, new everything on the roof except for the AC unit, which is totally fine. New roof.
Contrail wallpaper in or nothing?
And there's some cool shit. They got some good ideas. It's going to look really cool. So I'm excited for that. But anyways, that's been consuming a lot of my time. But skiing has been phenomenal. We've had a really good ski year. Easter Sunday here, was the yesterday, I guess we could say, as we're recording this podcast on Monday evening. You'll be hitting your ear holes here Tuesday morning. But so North Star, Kirkwood, Heavenly all shut down yesterday. And I know. I got to make several turns on Milky Way Bowl at Heavenly yesterday, which was absolutely epic and closed out the season. So, but Squaw Palisades is still open till Memorial Day, and so is Mammoth.
Is Kirkwood staying open or no?
Nope, they're gone. She gone.
Oh, shit.
Skied there Saturday, watched their pond skim, the slush cup they call it. They used to do a race and the pond skim. They don't do the race anymore. It's just the pond skim. But there was 180 participants, and they had a jump going into the pond, and there was some people going full send. I mean, it hurt when they hit the water on their back, on their stomach, or whatever side they were on, inverted.
Now there's tons of snow there still. This happens because the labor moves on, right? It's like contract seasonal labor.
Okay, so that's a good point, and that is true. It's the J1s, it's called. The people from all the foreign countries come in and work for the winter, and then they're done. And there's several things. There's the lease on the Forest Service land. It's dollars and cents what it comes down to, right? And that resort in particular is owned by Vial. But before Vial owned that resort, Kirkwood would stay open till there was fucking dirt showing.
Yeah.
They
been there, done that.
Yeah, they'd go as long as they could, which was awesome. And it's still, out of all the Vial resorts that I've been to, it's still old school vibe and a great ski hill for people that love to ski.
When I was skiing, that was my favorite place to ski above all. I mean, it was definitely amazing, the best.
The terrain. So a little segue there. I got to go out on, so they closed Sunday, Easter Sunday, the 20th. On the 19th was the pond skim. So I was out there for the pond skim and watched that. It was awesome. And the reason why I went out there, not only to see that, but I got invited to hop in the right seat with one of our friends. You know him, Colby, that runs the Snowcats out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been trying to hook this up all winter, and it just snuck by, and okay, yeah, we'll make it happen. One of those things. Until you get a fucking date on the calendar, it's not going to happen. That's one thing I've learned. It's like, oh, people, it's easy to talk about. You got the talking part done. Let's get a fucking date on the calendar. And so we were coming down to the end of the season. I'm like, hey, can we make this happen? He's like, okay, well, how about these dates? I'm like, no, that's not going to work. But how about that? Yeah, Saturday night, last night of grooming. Let's do it. So it was cool to see. And he runs the Winch Cat, which
Winch Cats are fucking badass, man.
Dude. Anybody that's like gearhead, right? And I'm a gearhead. You're a gearhead. I mean, we love machines and all the different capabilities and whatever their purpose is and stuff. But this thing is purpose built to fucking groom steep ass slopes. And, it ties in four-wheeling and snow grooming to the nth degree. So there's
you have like a 4-point harness or a 5-point harness.
So the driver does, the passenger does not.
Oh, fuck. No seatbelt at all, or just a lap belt?
Yeah, you got a seatbelt. You just have a lap belt. And you're going down 40-degree slopes, and you got a footrest, like a really good, solid footrest to put your feet on.
Shit bar.
Yeah. And you got a little oh shit handle up there, but you're like, you come over the crest of, Kirkwood, so over Sentinel Bowl, over Zachary's, and they're 40 degrees or so, and you're just like 35. I don't know. There's somewhere in that. They're steep. And you drop down and you're like, oh, fuck. I mean, skiing is like no big deal, but when you're in a fucking $800,000 piston bully fucking Winch Cat, it's like, whoa. And they're like 22,000 pounds, and
and if the cable breaks, goodbye. Bye.
Well, so that's the interesting thing with this winch cat. So I'm asking a million questions. It's like, okay, how does this winch work and stuff? But what the cool thing is with all the modern day electronics and hydraulics, everything's computerized. And so, it's got a full 360-degree boom that goes around the cab of this winch cat. So when you're going down the hill, the boom's behind you, obviously, and it's lowering you down the hill.
Paying out.
But you set the pressure that you want on it. So like he set it at like 3 tons. So, 6,000 pounds, which didn't seem like much, but it's enough to keep the cat stable going down that terrain. And in the spring, this was like the most challenging conditions to be in to groom, because soft snow, we're up there at like, the shift started at 4:00 and temperatures are still above freezing, high 30s. I think it was 39 or something, 40 degrees. And so you're pushing these big old moguls down that skiers and snowboarders have pushed out throughout the day. And going downhill, obviously, you got gravity and no big deal. But coming back up, you're pushing that snow, and that winch is pulling and keeping the 3,000 ton pressure. It is freaking impressive, man. And I'm listening for the engine to bog down. On our mowers and stuff on golf courses, you get into some thick, wet turf or something in the rough, and the mower bogs down. It's like, brrr, and you got to back off the traction pedal. This thing gave 0 fucks. It's just like, bring it on.
So it's like probably like 400 horsepower. Probably.
No, it's like well over 500 horsepower. This thing, diesel, which is a lot of horsepower for a diesel, right? And it was just amazing. So we're going down the hill, and I'm like, how much fucking cable do you have? Because it's not 100-foot winch line that we're used to.
Right?
Right? So it's 1,000 meters of usable winch, they call it. It's
wait. You say 1,000 meters?
1,000 meters, which is 3,280 feet of cable.
That's a lot of cable.
It's a shit.
Is it cable or is it?
It's cable. Line? No, it's wire cable, and
holy shit, that's heavy.
It's just under a half inch. It's like 0.41 or 0.42. So 0.5 would be a half inch. So it's pretty big cable, and there's 1,050 meters on the spool, but they say 1,000 usable. So what, a mile's 5,280?
Yeah.
So you're just a couple thousand feet of a mile of cable, because we're going down this big old run, and I'm like, how much more cable do we have? It goes, oh no, we can go a lot more. And I'm like, holy shit, that's impressive. And watching that cable just slap and do its thing, I'm just like, and you got this glass windshield in front of you. I'm like, this ain't the best scenario, doing all the winching and stuff I've done over the years. But yeah, that's one of the hazards of the job, I guess. But it was super cool.
What was I going to ask? It's about the cable. Man, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But I mean, to kind of dovetail into that a little bit, thinking about the Masters was last weekend, two weekends ago. And I don't know if you caught any of the Masters, but that's like the biggest tournament of the year for golf nuts. But kind of in yardages and meters. So Rory McIlroy won the Masters this year, and I did catch his tee shot on the first hole, and everybody was blown away when he drove on the par 4 first hole at Augusta, 371 yards.
Wow.
Just freaking crushed his drive. And then I started doing the numbers, and it's like, that's 1,100 feet, which is just short, a couple hundred feet short of a quarter mile.
Wait, 1,100 feet?
Yeah, 371 yards is like, it's like 1,100.
Okay.
And I'm like, fuck, that guy just drove a golf ball almost a quarter mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so it's crazy to think about these distances. 3,000 feet of cable.
Yeah. It's impressive, man. It's such a cool deal. And, being an avid skier and seeing, how these groomers work and climb these mountains and stuff. And of course, the non-winch cat groomers were grooming all the lower runs, but they could still climb some impressive terrain.
Oh, they have traction for days. Yeah,
they do. It's cool.
So is there any special design on the sumps or anything for these engines to be running on these extreme slopes to make sure they get oiled and everything?
That's a really good question, Chris. I would imagine. I mean, like I say, it's an $800,000 winch cat.
That's designed to operate on a 40 or 50 degree slope.
It's designed. Yeah, it's designed to do extreme terrain and cold weather, right? I mean, here's the other thing that was cool is I'm looking at all these hoses going to the windshield wipers, and I'm like, okay, so you got your antifreeze squirter that goes on, right? Window washer, but I'm like, what's going on? And Colby's like, they're heated with engine coolant, right? So the heated antifreeze engine coolant is running through the windshield wiper arms to keep them hot. I mean, you got to think of the conditions, especially at Kirkwood. Dude, it is not uncommon for them to get over 100-mile-an-hour winds with snow blowing.
Whiteout blizzard.
Super extreme conditions over there. And yeah, I mean, these in heated windshield, obviously, and stuff. I mean, it's crazy. You got the air ride seat and then the control.
Massaging seats?
They're not massaging, but the sound system in this thing was badass. Had a subwoofer. It was broken, but somebody blew out the subwoofer, probably listening to gangster rap or something. But but it's got this killer sound system in it. And, it's huge, wide cab. I mean, I'm sitting like 4+ feet away from Colby driving this thing. And
these are big machines.
Yeah, and everything it reminded me of like a Hummer inside. Hummers are very wide, and the driver and passenger are a mile apart, figuratively. But yeah, everything's on this joystick with your right hand to control, and then your left hand's controlling the traction, forward, back, left, right. And it's just super ergonomic, and it's crazy. And the lights, oh my God, that's the cool thing. Where I'm living, I can watch the groomers at Heavenly and all the lights, fireflies coming down the hill. Than to be in one and see it. That was cool. That was cool. So,
well, your lighting's, they work at night, so lighting's critical. So
yeah, absolutely. Work in the dark.
I'm sure it's all the latest LED shit and all that stuff. So
I got to get back. We segued into skiing and winch cat there, but I got to get back to Tom Lou's birthday party.
Oh yeah, that's right. We forgot about that.
So James and Rhonda came up to work on the camper, and that's where we got sidetracked. But and so I told him about the deal. The Saturday we're gonna go run Knuckle Buster upper and lower. He goes, should I bring the buggy? And I go, well, fuck yeah. So he brought his buggy, and I was just going to go out and like spectate, and because I hadn't touched my buggy since it's been a while, since Sand Hollow in October. So he's like, dude, you should take it. So I literally just splash gas in it, gave it a once over. Said a little prayer and threw it on the trailer, and we took it out. Oh my God, there was probably, not exaggerating, 40 rigs.
Oh boy,
at this event, all different kinds. I mean, everything from some fucking badass Ultra 4 shit to clapped out, raisined up Toyotas, and wow. I'm just going to say, wow, it was a spectacle to be had. People sending it, people choosing some crazy lines. I witnessed one of the worst rollovers in my 30+ years of wheeling. Luckily, nobody got hurt, but it was one of the harshest endo flipping over forward. Onto the lid.
It sounds like Medusa potential.
Oh yeah, and pivoting around, facing back up the trail that they were coming down.
So it's a pirouette.
It was a pirouette endo, and I was like, holy shit. I was actually in shock of like, I didn't know what, it was just like, did I just watch that? And then, then your senses kick in and it's like, oh fuck, is anybody hurt? So we're yelling down. I jumped down there. James was there. There was a couple other guys, everybody okay? Yeah, no, we're good. I expected some blood, and thank God they had their limbs inside. If any of them had their arms out of the vehicle, would have been disastrous.
That's good to hear. I'm glad nobody got hurt. I mean, were they hurt in any way, shape, or form? Or?
Oh, they were hurting. They had to be hurting the next morning. Couple scrapes, but nothing. I didn't see any like crazy blood squirting out or anything like that. So that was good.
How long did the recovery take?
Well, that was it. The recovery was pretty wild. Not the way I would have recovered the vehicle, but it worked. And that's how recoveries go. It's like, okay, textbook, we need to do this, this, and this, but wait, there's nowhere to attach. There's no snatch block point. Okay, we just got to fucking figure this thing out. And I just, was there for moral support. And one guy asked my opinion, and I gave it. But they were running their operation, and I just let them do it, and it worked. They got it back up on wheels. Not maybe the way I would have done it, but it worked.
Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
It was I think it was, it was kind of tubed out, but it was a Jeep. And it didn't have any straight body panels after that.
Oh, so it was a full body rig, or
it was a full body rig that
oh shit,
no longer a full body rig. No. Well, it's going to be a buggy now.
What kind of Jeep was it? An older style or?
Well, it was highly modified, newer, not JL newer, but
TJ,
a little bit newer than yours. Yeah, probably a TJ vintage. But it started right up, and they backed it down and then kind of let everything settle, and they drove it out of there. So that was pretty impressive. The windshield was no more.
Windshields were overrated.
Yeah. Glass and hardcore four-wheeling do not mix, or body panels. But anyways, so we were down there. Randy and Amber were down there in the Tacoma, and obviously just watching at that point on Lower Knucklebuster, it gets pretty Western, and there's some gnarly lines. James was trying this line just to the side of where this guy rolled, and he was doing well, and then it slid, and he got pretty gnarly, and winch for safety to get him back down, and then tried it again, and no, it wasn't going to happen. He was close. He was super close. But
what you're saying, this sounds like it's more geared towards a 4-steer buggy, or
it was 4-steer. Yeah. So I went down there over a year ago with Randy and Amber when Randy had Gold Digger, and I watched him try some of those lines, and he's made those lines before, but 4-steer definitely helps. But it's cool. It's a cool trail. It's a half an hour from my house, and you pick your poison. I mean, it's all King of the Hammers type stuff down in this canyon. Cool. And you got to turn around and come back out because the waterfall at the end going down is impossible. It's just, there's no way you're dropping off 50 feet.
That'd be bad
to your death. So, anyways, so yeah, we had a great time there. Happy birthday, Tom, if you're still listening to the podcast. But yeah, they were having a good time. It was a good party, and glad we got to participate during the day. Probably glad we weren't there during the evening hours, but it was cool. So yeah, other than that, I got a new iPhone. So this was a weird experience.
Yeah, let's hear about that.
So iPhone 11 Pro Max is what I had. So I don't know, 5 years old? Probably.
Was it the new one's 15?
The new one's 16 Pro 16,
Max. Keep up.
Yeah. So way behind, and I knew I wanted to get a new phone couple years ago, and I'm like, oh, this one's still working, but the battery life, the phone, the camera was getting glitchy and all this stuff, and I'm like nursing this thing along. So I go down to Mammoth to go skiing for a couple days, and first day, I go up to the bar area, lunch bar area, and they have those crazy metal grates, so the snow goes through, and you got traction. It's got the little bumps on the grate and everything. So I'm sitting in this Adirondack chair, enjoying the afternoon sun, spring skiing and stuff, and talking to people. And I bump the chair, and my phone falls off. I had it sitting on the handle or the armrest, and it falls off on the face side, the glass side.
Oh boy!
Onto that grate, shattered the glass. I mean, Chris, there was pieces of glass coming off the phone. I go, well, that ain't good. Phone still worked. Couldn't see much.
Got your fingers open.
The camera, well, it was like all this glass coming out. I'm like, oh my God. I go, this thing's effed. And I'm like, well, it's time for a new phone. But I'm like, I don't want to, this is a small town. I got Verizon. Do I go to the Verizon store? There ain't no Apple store there, and stuff. And so anyways, long story short, go to the Verizon store. Super cool guy. Shout out to Ed down there that helped me out.
Most people named Ed are pretty cool.
Yeah, right? And so I go, hey, here's my situation. He goes, oh, let me look up your account and let me see if you're eligible for a new phone. He goes, oh shit, you've been eligible for a phone for 3 years.
Mr. Green, you're like way, way behind in your payments.
Yeah, I got my Etch-a-Sketch.
Get out of the store now.
I got my Etch-a-Sketch iPhone. So
you can get an iPhone 1.
Right. So it's like, yeah, we got the 16, E, 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max. And I'm like, the Pro Max was nice when I was running the business. It was bigger and it was kind of my laptop in my pocket. I'm like, I want a little bit smaller phone that I can get my hands around and use. And so he's like, yeah, you can do that, this, and, you get credit. Basically doesn't cost you much. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, let me do a little homework. I'll be back tomorrow. So we ski in the morning and snow, starts to mash potatoes out and the corn is gone. And so later that afternoon we go over there and I go, hey, Ed. He goes, all right. So I ended up with a 16 Pro, and I'm like, okay, the good thing is I have the Apple Cloud. So all my stuff's already backed up on my old phone.
Right. Just
and
log
so
in.
They said, okay, yeah, we're going to do the transfer. Okay, great. It took a while. It took a couple hours for the transfer. Things were just not super happy, but okay. And it finally happened. And it's like, okay. So, you take this crazy technology, take the old phone and the new phone and just keep them together. You just got to keep them together till it finishes. And so it finished. It's like, okay, great. So your new phone's all just like your old phone.
So let me hold you there for a second. You put the phones together and you let them finish.
Mm-hmm. Happy finish. And
that
so
sounds very, very erotic.
You do whatever you want with your mind there, but it's just two electronic devices together, and they transfer information. And it was crazy. I mean, my screen, home screen, everything, the lock screen, everything is the same, just on a brand new phone now. Your apps, you got to reopen and re-log into and stuff. But once you do that, everything is the same. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty freaking cool. And then the old phone, they're like, okay, once it transfers, bring your old phone back, so we can give you the credit. And I mean, basically, I had to pay taxes. It cost me like $50 to get a new phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's cool. Now, of course, you lock into the plan longer, but but I've been happy Verizon customer. It works where I want it to work. So then the old phone is like, okay, everything's transferred. Do you want to wipe it? I'm like, okay, here we go. Yes. You sure? Yes. Are you really sure? Yes. Are you really, 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 really sure?
Really?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
She gone.
Just run it through a wood chipper and call it good.
Basically, so the phone gets wiped, bring it back to them, and they turn it in and do whatever they do with them. And so pretty streamlined process. Didn't really want to do it on my vacation, but I did it. And shout out to Ed. He's got a store in Mammoth and Bishop. And damn, it was great. Good job. So,
we're so dependent. We're so dependent on our devices now that you can't live without. You just can't. I mean, they're a priority.
It's part of people now, and even this my buddy got a new job, and he did everything on an app to like set up payroll, set up I-9, everything. It was online. And then he had to bring in his document, whatever I-9 documents to prove that you're a legal citizen to work. And then so that was the only like physical paperwork hard copy that he had to deal with. I'm like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
That's the modern time. I mean, it's a struggle I have. This is a total, way tangent, but dealing with a crew, my staff, a lot of non-English speakers. They're great dudes, but then a lot of them are, just non-technical, technology savvy people, and everything is on ADP, which is, a payroll app and so forth. So if they want to make changes to their W-4, they want to make they want to see their vacation, they want to do vacation or sick time requests, all that stuff is done through an app. And that is modern times right now. Even the online training, because you have sexual harassment, you have workplace violence training, all that stuff is done online.
Watch this YouTube video. Answer these questions.
And listen to Jennifer, who's just an evil bitch in the workplace. But
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Her name's not Karen?
No, it's Jennifer. They didn't use a Karen. Jennifer is Karen. But yeah. I mean, that's the modern times. But again, crazy. Going back, Jim, I'm glad you have a new phone. That's cool. I know you've been winding that one up for a couple of years.
Yeah, I have. I'm working on a new laptop too, so we'll see how that goes.
There's an ant. What's an ant doing on my
CJ's
desk?
been diligent in helping me find a good deal on a used laptop. That's a year or two old, but that's going to be light years ahead of where I am now. So, anyways, modern technology, all good.
Good.
So, I think that's about it. Oh, the only other thing I'll end with is, you're going to laugh. I'm helping a friend sell. It's not mine, Chris. 2002 Tiffin Phaeton diesel pusher motorhome. So if anybody out there in podcast land is looking for a diesel pusher motorhome, now, yes, it's a 2002, but it's extremely well maintained.
Is this
new
jacked?
Tires, been stored inside, 330 cat diesel pusher, 2 slides. Did I say that already? But everything works on it. Everything fucking works. I mean, I'm looking at this thing like, man, I might want this, but it's 38 feet. So it's a big dog. And I'm like, no, my cab over camper and truck work just fine. But if you are interested in a 2002 Tiffin Phaeton,
I couldn't even afford the fuel for that fucking thing.
It's fucking badass though. I mean, it's bad. I mean, everything works. I was like, holy hell. So if you're interested in that, shout out to me, DM, or if you got my phone number, call, text, send a carrier pigeon, smoke signal. It is a screaming deal. And he just wants to get rid of it. And I said I'd help him out with that. So anybody looking for a diesel pusher, 38 foot, badass
luxury
motorhome.
on wheels, right?
It really is. It's even got, so I'm sitting in this thing, starts right up, and on
that's the first thing that would be important.
Well, right, driver's side. So you got the push button transmission. You want to go forward, reverse, neutral, park.
Is that an Allison transmission?
I believe so. Just below that is like this knob and this gauge and stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is that? He goes, oh, that's the wind control. So if you got a major side wind, you can turn this thing on and it hydraulically countersteers into the wind so you're not fighting the steering wheel. Yeah.
That's a thing?
That's a thing. Okay. Well, you're driving a fucking billboard down the highway. So yeah. But yeah, I'm like, oh my God. And I looked at that whole hydraulic system. It works. It's freaking badass, man.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that before. That's crazy.
No, I know. Technology.
Wow.
Back in 2002. So, anyways, I can give you more specs. Hit me up, and we can chat. So
408-800-5169. 408-800-5169.
They could call that number if you'd like to, or hit me up on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, the IG, or Jason at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com.
That's right.
Or Chris at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. Ask him about the RV. He'll make some shit up.
I'll be happy to forward it to Jason, but I don't know shit about this thing. But it sounds cool.
It's pretty cool. It'd be good if you were a couple years older and ready to retire. Then it would be perfect for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thankful to be a year older as it is. So
there you go. You got that going for you, which is nice.
Hey, a couple more things. We got safety clinic for spring is sold out. So if you didn't get signed up and have the privilege of being down there to see Jason and I next month at Area 5 down at Hollister Hills, try to get on the waiting list and we'll see you maybe in the fall.
There you go.
A couple other things. Val Kilmer, a favorite actor of mine, recently passed away, and it sucks to be. He had cancer, throat cancer, and I thought a lot of people not a lot of people, but people said he was just kind of difficult to work with. But I thought he was a fantastic actor, both in Top Gun and The Saint and a few other movies that I really enjoyed him in. But one of the best movies that I just recently went back and watched was Tombstone.
Oh, Tombstone's a great movie.
Holy shit. I just literally watched it last weekend. And oh my God. I mean, the star power that's in that movie is just beyond, Bill Paxton, Val Kilmer, Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on.
Movie.
I mean, for Val Kilmer to not have gotten an Academy Award for his portrayal of Doc Holliday was just bad deal.
That'd be a good camp movie around the campfire.
Oh hell yeah! It's a great movie. If you've never seen Tombstone, it's on. I think I watched it on Netflix. So was it on Netflix or was it on Prime?
I'm sure it's on all that.
But if you've never seen Tombstone, go back and check it out. It's a great goddamn movie, and pay your tribute to rest in peace Val Kilmer, because he was great.
Wow. Yeah. No, good call. Good call. Love it.
So just to wrap things up, we do have a review that I wanted to read real quick.
Nice.
If you've stuck with us this long for this episode.
Well, they should. And send us a voicemail too. We just need to make sure people are listening.
That's right. Let us know you love us.
We're going to pull the fucking plug. Shut her down.
That's right. Shut it down.
Look, Lorenzo's already given us the shutdown sign. Normally it's you.
Fuck him.
He's trying to shut you down this time, Chris.
Bastard. Anyway, this is a review for episode 292, which was titled The Slosson's Road to the Hammers.
Oh.
It's from John. This was posted to me on the Spotify 5 days ago. And he goes on to write, freaking awesome episode. Love hearing the episodes with the Slossons. Towards the end, don't black out on me. Towards the end, Randy mentioned putting in earbuds, and I was wondering what comms or does he race with AirPods in. Love the episodes. Keep up the awesome content. Oh, and Toyota suck.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
So there you go.
I can speak to that. They're calm earbuds. They're not AirPods or anything. They're wired, part of the I believe rugged radio system. I don't want to misspeak.
Rugged, yep.
It could be PCI. But yeah, he has these, they're basically like those foam ear protection, plugs, but they're audio, and he sticks those in and then puts on his helmet. So I know he kept telling me when I was riding with him a few months ago out there on that test run, and he says, just talk in your normal voice, but you get fucking excited in the car, right? And you start, oh no, and I can project a little bit.
No, really?
He's like, just normal voice, Jason, normal voice. I'm like, well, you're fucking going 90 miles an hour into this corner and making a 90-degree turn. So
screaming like a girl is what he's saying.
Exactly. I was screaming like a girl. Stop screaming like a girl.
Perfect.
So yeah.
All right. Well, that's kind of it. Let's just put a bow on this.
All right.
You leave it. So yeah, we want to hear some love on the voicemail. That number is 408-800-5169. Again, that's 408-800-5169. You can also email Jason at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com or me, Chris, at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. Don't forget about the IG, which is at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. And obviously, Irate 4x4 was a great partnership with Austin there. And, we're going to be doing some new and exciting things. We've got, the merch, the merch situation is coming up.
Okay, so you brought it up. It's ready to launch. So look for that. There'll be an IG post with the deets, if you will. But basically, you'll be able to go to wheelingwineandwhiskey.com as well and order merch. And I mean, we got everything now. It's all direct to print. So like, we're not holding inventory anymore. So it's a little bit more expensive, but you can get a fucking coffee cup. You can get a baby bib.
You can get a onesie for your baby.
You can get a Christmas ornament. you can get a lot of stuff with the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey logo on it. And there's different logos. So there's the hero logo. That's the full color logo.
I love that logo.
So the cool thing is we had those shirts with the white logo on a black shirt that was just like outlined, or black logo on a gray shirt, outlined. Or you can get the hero logo now, or you could do a little, left breast hero logo, and then you could do the big logo on the back. So the options, you can get a fucking blanket. There's some cool stuff. And so Chris and I ordered to check out the quality. Awesome. Great. I've washed it a couple times. I've tried it. Very good. So we're happy with it. We gave our thumbs up. Johnny worked hard on this from Dirtbag Clothing, and this is a good solution to expand our line. It's a little bit more expensive, but at the end of the day, you got a lot more options and can get exactly what you want. The hat situation, we're working on that because the hats aren't up to our standards. So you're not going to be able to buy a hat right now. I do have some hats in inventory. If you do want hats with our patch, our embroidered patch on it, I do have those. I have beanies. So those are there. So if you want that, hit me up on Instagram or Jason at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com, and we'll hook you up. But that's the only thing that's not on that site right now.
Cool.
All right.
Look for that. I don't know. I think I'm kind of tapped out.
Everything? All right. Well, you tapped out. All right. Episode 304 in the books. And with that, Chris,
we're out.